Hey guys, I'm here to show you my NFL playoff picks. And I just want to congratulate the NFL on reaching the playoffs with all the obstacles they faced, including COVID. And it's just been a difficult season, and it's amazing that they made it through. So let me get down to sharing you my screen, and here is our playoff picks. Let's get it up and loaded. Here it is. And this is a really nice website, Playoff Predictors. It helps you predict anything, football, basketball, baseball, and even college football, the seasons that are going to be on sometime soon. And you can see on the sides here, it tells you the records and who's in first and who's in the postseason by the highlighted names, and the faded teams are not in the postseason. So the only thing that was a little bit hard for me is it had some incorrect teams in the postseason when I completed it. So I had to go back in and select all the right teams for every week. And I got the records, but then the Rams were ahead of the Bucks because of the Rams beat the Bucks and they had the same record. And I had to go back and get everything situated. 8-8 situation with Chicago because who's better in the division had to get situated. And I had to get Tennessee back to 11-5. I somehow got them to 14-2, and then that made Buffalo get up to 14-2. I had to get them back down. Cleveland was messed up. Miami was in the playoffs. Las Vegas was in the playoffs. I had the Chargers at 4-12 when I should have been at 7-9. Just a whole thing I had to go back and review. As you can see right here, I was searching up all the records here. I had the Titans, and I went into Bills versus Cardinals by just making sure everything. So anyway, let's get to the playoff picks. You can simply just click here, go on the scroll bar, and we're going to start at the wild card round. Okay, so Tennessee and Baltimore. Tennessee's beat Baltimore the last two times. I believe, during the regular season, it was in Tennessee, but last year in the post, it was in Baltimore. Baltimore was the number one ranked seed, but I think Tennessee's just caught Baltimore the bad time, and they're red hot, and I'm going to select Baltimore to move on. Now it's Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Obviously, Cleveland won against Pittsburgh to get into the postseason and knocked out my Dolphins by doing so, helping with Indianapolis, Buffalo, and Cleveland all won. We needed Pittsburgh. We needed one team to lose, Indianapolis, Cleveland, or Buffalo, and all of them won. So that was unfortunate. But anyway, I know Cleveland Browns are hot, but I just don't think Baker Mayfield or the defense is good enough for the Steelers at full health. So I'm going to select the Steelers. And Buffalo and Indianapolis. Indianapolis got a good chance, got the better defense, in my opinion, and in most fantasy leagues' opinion as well. They have a shot, but I just don't think they can. Phillip Rivers can overpower Buffalo. So I'm going to go with the Bills on for this one. Tampa Bay and Washington. Now, I think it's going to be really close. That's my NFC team, Washington. I also like Miami, like I've mentioned before. And they've been pretty hot. They're coming off that win. Tampa Bay, I'm talking about. Washington just got a win against the Eagles. And they're 5-7 in the conference, which is kind of scary because they lost to the Lions and the Panthers. But they were both winnable games. A penalty, a drop punt. It was a number of things that were in our control that we could have won. But but Tampa Bay is really hot. They are probably not going to have Mike Evans, and they might not have, they don't have their best offensive lineman. So, and the Washington defensive line. So it's going to be really close. But I know this might get a lot of people upset, but I'm going to go with Washington. I think they're going to pull out a win against Tampa Bay. Don't ask me how I know that. Don't ask me why I think that. I may be completely wrong, but that's who I think is going to win. So now I'm going to go over to the Seattle and Rams game. It's going to be Seattle. Jared Goff is out. The Seattle defense looks okay. If Russell Wilson can just play well, he's at home. It's going to be Seattle. New Orleans beat Chicago in the regular season. I think they're going to do it again because Mitch Trubisky is just not going to be good enough, especially if the Saints have Kamara and Thomas. Mainly Alvin Kamara, however you want to pronounce it. If they have Kamara, then Saints are going to win because the defense for Chicago is one of the best in the league, and so is the Saints. The Saints offense just matches up better than the Chicago offense. Congratulations for Chicago getting to the playoffs despite having a 5-7 record. But I just don't think you're going to win this playoff game. And you can just hit this next button, and look at that, you're in the next one. So Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, Seattle, New Orleans, Washington, Green Bay. Now let's start in the AFC. Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Buffalo's hot. Big Ben is just not good enough. It's not going to be good enough for the Steelers. The Bills have a good defense as well as the Steelers. And as long as they can keep the Steelers' passing game in check, then the Bills can definitely haul this one out easily. This is going to be a good one here. Kansas City and Baltimore, the 1 and 2 seeds from last year. Kansas City coming off the bye. I don't know if that can affect them, if it can hurt them, or it can help them, the bye. Obviously, you want to shoot for that bye because it gives your players a rest, but it also can some teams like to keep going, like just if they're hot, like Baltimore, they wouldn't want to have a bye because they're hot. Now, the Ravens, I don't know if their defense can keep Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs can stop them. I know their offense can compete with them, but I think in the end, the Chiefs are going to haul it out because of their more superior offense. Now, move on to the NFC, New Orleans and Seattle. Now, Seattle is playing the Rams, and I think they're going to win that game. Definitely Michael Thomas and Kamara will be back for this game. Well, definitely Kamara. He just tested positive for COVID. I don't know about Michael Thomas, but I think the goal was to have him back at least definitely by this divisional game. So I think the Saints are going to win this game just because their defense is much superior, is a better defense than Seattle. And the Seahawks, it's sort of going to be like that Baltimore game. Maybe the offense can catch up. But it honestly, this game could go either way. That's why they're number 2, number 3 seed, had the same record in the regular season. It could go either way. So, Washington, Green Bay coming off the bye. It's going to be at Lambeau. You can see where this is going. The Washington offense just can't catch up with it like they could with the Buccaneers because of their defense matches up well with Tom Brady's offense in Tampa because it's a passing game And Washington has one of the best corners in the game over the last few years. Kendall Fuller and Ronald Darby's looking very good. Plus, they have Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Ryan Kerrigan, Daron Payne, and Jonathan Allen as that defensive line, all first-round picks. Not this year. Chase Young's the rookie. Pretty much everybody that would be watching this video knows that. Second pick overall. I think that matches up well with Tampa Bay, but I think Aaron Rodgers, he can still run. He can run a little bit better than Tom Brady. That's why I think one of the reasons why Tom Brady he can't escape the defensive line as well as Rodgers can. Also, the Buccaneers, as I mentioned before, were missing their number one offensive lineman, but the Green Bay is all healthy. It's going to be Green Bay. I actually would have probably chosen the Buccaneers in the situation if it was Buccaneers and Green Bay. But it's Washington. It's going to be Green Bay to win this game. Now we're going to hit the next button. Now it's a matchup with the 1 and 2 seeds. And despite the regular season loss to Kansas City, I think the Bills can win this game just because of how hot, because they're hot. The Kansas City is coming off a loss. I know they didn't start anybody good. Tyreek Hill out, Patrick Mahomes out, but the Bills are coming off a 56-26 win. And that's just to clinch that 2 seed to play the Colts instead of the Cleveland Browns. And yeah, I mean, that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be the Bills just because they're hot and their defense is better, and their offense can run with Kansas City's offense. Josh Allen, Devin Singletary running, and on the passing, which I think is a little more of an advantage. They have Stephon Diggs, they have John Brown, but more importantly, they have Cole Beasley, who wasn't supposed to be one of the top receivers, but he has been. Plus, they have a number of other guys, including Dawson Knox, the tight end, who have performed real well. Now, Saints Green Bay is going to be in Lambeau again for Green Bay. That's what they wanted, going into Lambeau. That's like a whole other field, like the Seahawks field. New Orleans, obviously, definitely by now, they're going to have all their players back that they need. Assuming no injuries. Green Bay is going to be coming off that win if everything goes my way. This is tough. I'm still thinking about this one. This game could go either way. The defenses are about the same. The running game is about the same, but I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers just because the passing game is going to be a little bit better for the Packers than it is going to be for Drew Brees and the Saints. So, off to the Super Bowl we go. Bills taking on the Packers in Tampa Bay, Florida. And this is going to be it. These offenses match up about even. These defenses is Buffalo has the advantage. I'm saying Buffalo is going to win the game. Buffalo going to win the Super Bowl, win it all, because of the fact that, I'm going to say it again, they're hot. Weren't they? They were like something in 2, I think 4-2, maybe 5-2, and now they're 13-3. Just losing to the Kansas City Chiefs as their third loss, I believe. I could be wrong. It's gonna be the Bills because I just don't see. They have the deep shots. Like Devontae Adams, ESPN Fantasy ranked him number 2 receiver. Stephon Diggs is ranked number 3 receiver. He's also got the most receptions in all of the NFL. And then you got the tight ends, Dawson Knox, and Robert Tonyan. They match up about even. Then you have the running backs. That's where it's a little bit different. Aaron Jones is a little bit better than Devin Singletary or Zach Moss. He just is. He's just a better runner and better back. Same difference. But you also have Josh Allen. So when you bring in Josh Allen, Devin Singletary, Zach Moss versus Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones, it's almost even. I still think the Packers have a little bit of an advantage, but then the defense ties it up again with Buffalo and Green Bay. Buffalo's just got a better defense than the Packers do. No disrespect to the Packers at all. It's just happened to be like that. The Packers defense has played very, very well, but Buffalo, it's hot. They're hot. No one can stop the Buffalo defense or the offense for that matter. So it's going to be a really close game. It probably is going to go to overtime. Obviously, you can have no tie. So it's going to be the Buffalo Bills to win this. Now, I'll show you the highlights. I'll show you all the weeks, not the highlights. Week 1, Houston lost to Kansas City. Buffalo beat the Jets. Jaguars defeated Indianapolis. New England beat Miami. The Ravens beat the Browns. The Chargers beat the Bengals. The Titans beat Denver. Those are the AFC matchups. Then interleague play. Vegas defeated the Panthers and the Steelers and the Giants. Steelers beat the G-Men. Seattle defeated Atlanta. Washington beat Philadelphia. The Bears defeated Detroit. Green Bay beat Minnesota. Arizona beat the 49ers. The Buccaneers lost to the New Orleans Saints. And the Rams defeated Dallas. Then in week 2, Cleveland went to a 1-1 record with Cincinnati, defeating Cincinnati. Buffalo went 2-0 by defeating Miami. Pittsburgh 2-0, defeating Denver. Tennessee 2-0, beating Jacksonville. Kansas City 2-0, defeating Chargers. Baltimore beat the Texans. In interleague, Indianapolis went to 1-1. San Francisco went to 1-1. Seattle went to 2-0, and Vegas went to 2-0. The Bears beat the Giants. Buccaneers beat Carolina. Dallas beat Atlanta in that crazy onside kick. The Rams defeated Philly. Green Bay went to 2-0 by defeating the Lions, and the Cardinals defeated Washington. And in week 3, Miami got their first win, defeating Jacksonville. They're both 1-2 at this point. New England went to 2-1 by defeating Vegas. Pittsburgh 3-0 by beating the Texans. The Jets lost to the Colts. Kansas City defeated Baltimore. Baltimore is now not undefeated. Buffalo in the interleague play is 3-0 after they defeated the Rams. Cleveland beat Washington. Philly and Cincy tied, so they're both 0-2-1. Minnesota lost to Tennessee, putting them at 0-3. Carolina beat the Chargers, putting them at 2-1, which sadly they ended up 5-11. And the Buccaneers took on the Broncos in Denver, and Buccaneers came out on top Atlanta went to 0-3 after losing to Chicago. Giants 0-3 after losing to San Fran. Detroit got their first win by beating Arizona. Seattle went to 3-0 after beating Dallas. And Green Bay went to a 4-0 after defeating the Saints. Week 4, we had that weird bye with Pittsburgh and Titans. So there's 2 less games. Denver defeated the Giants. Also, there was the Dolphins didn't play because of. Oh no, sorry, they did. My bad. But there was COVID with the Titans and the Steelers, so they did not play. So Denver beat the Jets. Jacksonville fell to Bengals, who are now 1-2-1. Kansas City remains undefeated, and so does Buffalo. After Kansas City beat New England and Buffalo defeated the Raiders. Indianapolis beat Chicago. Tampa Bay beat the Chargers. Cleveland won against Dallas. Seattle defeated Miami. Baltimore defeated Washington. And Minnesota defeated Houston. In the NFC, New Orleans beat Detroit. Carolina beat Arizona. LA beat NYG, the Giants. Philly defeated San Francisco on Sunday Night Football. And Green Bay on Monday Night Football beat Atlanta. And I'm not going to speak anymore. You can just look at who won because it sounds kind of repetitive and make it an annoying video. There's week 6, week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10. Oh, I skipped it. My bad. Let me go back to week 10. Week 11. Week 12. Washington is coming back to reclaim the lead. And Kansas City is solidifying its first place lead. 13. Washington defeated Pittsburgh, which that surprised literally everybody. Here's week 14, 15. We'll go back to week 14. I didn't stay on that long enough. 15. Week 16. And week 17. All matchups were within conference, and everybody played. So, and then here's my playoff predictions again, and I'll tell you what I think the score is going to be. Baltimore and Tennessee. The score, it's going to be a fairly high-scoring game. Say it's 31-27 in favor of the Ravens. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. I think it's going to be more of a low-scoring game. Maybe 20. I'm going to go 27-21 in favor of Pittsburgh. Buffalo and Indianapolis. It's going to be a little bit of a blowout by Buffalo, I think. Well, not like it's going to be 2-score game because it's going to be close until Buffalo eventually just takes the lead. So the Colts may even be up in the beginning. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Buffalo. Buffalo 38, Indianapolis 28. I'm going to go with that. Washington, Tampa Bay, it's going to be a low scoring game. I'm going to say Washington's 23, Tampa Bay 20. Seattle, Los Angeles. I think the Rams are going to have a good D like they do, but Seattle is going to overpower it, and it's going to be 28-24. New Orleans, Chicago. I'm going to say New Orleans is going to win 35-17. And then the divisional round, Buffalo defeats Pittsburgh 21-20. I think it's going to be close and more of a low-scoring game with two good defenses duking it out. Kansas City, Baltimore. Say it's another one that's going to be close. More of a little bit offensive domination, though. And 35-31 is what I'm going to say in favor of KC. The Saints take on Seattle in the Superdome. I think it's going to be 31-24 in favor of New Orleans. And Green Bay and Washington and Lambeau. I think it's going to be more of a blowout. And 24-14. Not exactly a blowout, but when you only have 14 points, it sort of feels like it. Now down to one of my favorite weeks of the year, when it's just 2 games to watch. So it would be, it's going to be hard. Buffalo 34 to Kansas City's 28. That's what I think the score is going to be. And Green Bay is going to narrowly defeat New Orleans 28-27. And in the Super Bowl, loading, there we go. Buffalo is going to defeat the Packers. I'm going to say 38-31. 7-point game, fairly high scoring, even with the good defenses. And that's my video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day.